across the nation. In the communication to the Senate plenary on Tuesday, Senator Vipala stressed the need for urgent attention on the situation across the country. She urged the Senate plenary to take immediate actions by citing both the Ministry of Justice and the Inspector General of the Liberian National Police to address what she termed as the alarming and unexplained death reported in Mosurado, Bang, Lofa, Nimba, and other parts of the country. Her communication added that the frequency and nature of the incident have raised substantial concern among citizens who are eager for clarity, justice, and reassurance regarding their safety. She further emphasized that it is crucial for the Minister of Justice and the Inspector General of Police to provide a detailed update on their investigative actions and preventive measures concerning the deaths. Bureau of States Enterprises, in collaboration with the European Union, will this Thursday commence a two-day high-level technical budget meeting. The meeting will bring together key stakeholders, including the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, the Liberia Revenue Authority, and the state-owned enterprises. The meeting aimed at discussing fiscal framework and accountability mechanism under the EU budget support program for the government of Liberia. Over the past years, the government of Liberia has worked closely with the EU to strengthen economic governance, with strong emphasis on mobilizing domestic revenue, that's domestic resources through SOEs. As part of its partnership, the Bureau of State Enterprises, Ministry of Finance, and the EU have established key performance indicators linking core tax remittances by SOEs to the disbursement of EU budget support. The discussion, which is slated for Thursday, will focus on refining the key performance indicators to ensure effective tax contributions from SOEs, including withholding taxes, corporate income taxes, goods and services taxes. In a release issued Wednesday, the Bureau of State Enterprises Director General Arthur Siakat Masekwe reaffirmed the Bureau commitments to integrity, accountability, and transparency in overseeing SOEs, compliance with budget support conditions, among others. Officer of the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, Riverview County Detachment, has executed a search warrant issued by the Bekpo Kawikian Magistrate Court. During the search, LDA officers said 68.4 grams of kush were discovered in the possession of suspect Edward Obi, 51 years old, a Nigerian national, and his girlfriend Evelyn Toll, 37 years old, a Liberian national. According to an LDA release, the street value of the seized drugs is 68.4 grams of kush. Total street value of 1,915 United States dollar is equivalent. The revision of certain aspects of the legal regime in Liberia Constitution. Professor Larry Tukpa pointed out that sustainable democracy should not be depend on the goodwill of political leaders because the continuation of democratic practices should be required by the Liberian Constitution and legal regime. Delivering the keynote speech at the 68th Armed Forces Day, Professor Stockpart made it unequivocally clear that there should be an engagement with all stakeholders in order to build a sustainable democracy in the country. He remarks that that's ECOWAS ambassador to Liberia, Josephine Nkrumah, said the sustaining of democracy required the whole societal approach, including the armed forces of Liberia, is a part of the society. She commended the High Command of the AFL for reaching to the Liberian society and for not operating in secrecy as some other security institution in the West African region. The activities mark the observance of the 68th anniversary of the Armed Forces Day continues on Friday with Juman service at the fish market in Singa on Friday, and on Saturday, the 8th of February 2025, the celebration continued with a cleanup campaign beginning on Capitol Hill, the Crown Hill, Snapper Hill in Monrovia. The Minister of National Defense says the armed forces of Liberia remains committed to championing the cause, ensuring that all citizens have a voice in shaping the future of the security landscape. Retired General Major General Geraldine George added that based on this background, the AFL will continue to engage with the community through outreach program, civic education, and social development initiative. Mr. George made the statement recently when she spoke at a one-day symposium marking the 68th Armed Forces Day organized by the Ministry of National Defense in Congo Town. Making remarks during the program, the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia, Major General Davison Follett, observed that security remains a collective responsibility of the entire society, regardless and irrespective of citizen background. According to AFL Chief of Staff, it is through effective collaboration, sharing of intelligence, and harmonized resources that the Liberian people can build a safer and resilient country. The symposium here under the theme Effective Stakeholders Engagement through Interagency Collaboration for the Enhancement of Sustainable Democracy broad panelists for the cross section of the Liberian society. The National Lottery Authority has presented $1,500,000 Liberian dollars to the 2024 National County Sports Meet Kickball category. The donation is in recognition of exceptional performances in the competition. Speaking at the presentation ceremony, Regina Nangbe, Director General of the National Lottery Authority, reaffirmed the institution's commitment to sports development and youth empowerment in Liberia. He indicated that the National County Sports Meet is an important event that unites the country and provides a platform for young athletes to showcase their talents. Nangbe further noted that as part of NLA corporate social responsibility, the entity is proud to support the kickball category by ensuring that winners and outstanding players receive well-deserved prizes. He emphasized that the donation is a dedication to promoting sports at all levels, particularly in kickball, which continues to grow across the country.
Otis Sankan there with our news bulletin. If you just joining us, is a reminder you are in tune to King's Newsroom, 45 minutes of news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Today is Thursday, the 6th of February 2025. These are stories we are closely following in the headlines. Africa's power supplier to Liberia cuts from 50 megawatts to 7.5 megawatts to the Liberia Electricity Corporation due to production challenges and critical maintenance activities. In ongoing Capitol Building fire outbreak investigation, Liberia National Police arrests and forward to court two additional suspects, charge them with destructive forces, criminal mischief, among others. Center for Transparency and Accountability criticizes Unity Party-led government over rampant corruption allegations. Central Executive Director Anansi Miame says President Joseph Boakai has failed to address cardinal needs of the Liberian people. And away from Liberia, Malawi's President Lazarus Chikawa has ordered the military to begin preparing to withdraw from their peacekeeping mission in the volatile Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. We take a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you voices of the newsmakers. Many thanks for being there and welcome back. Today's development now, Labour Minister Councillor Cooper Carr has refuted reports of the ministry's involvement in shielding individuals linked to trafficking in persons and theft of property. Recently, the director for operations at the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Task Force assigned to the Ministry of Labour, Melvin McGill, was investigated, charged, and forwarded to court for alleged trafficking in persons and theft of property. The arrest and subsequent prosecution of Melvin McGill by the Liberia National Police has sparked public debate, with many accusing the Labour Ministry of shielding the alleged perpetrator. However, addressing the allegations Wednesday in Congo Town, Minister Crow denied the ministry's involvement in the allegation. According to him, the ministry's on his watch has been proactive and instrumental in showing that individuals who have been involved in human trafficking are brought to justice.
Three safe homes, one in Bombing and two in Maserati. And those victims that are there, we feed them on a monthly basis. We also, the police arrested somebody from our ministry and said they have 4 years ago the person must have committed some crime. Something that this ministry has nothing to do or has no reason to know it. Because when people are looking for a job, it's never written on their face to say, well, 4 years ago I did something bad or the police were investigating. Sometimes other people use those instances to say things that they do not know about other people. There is no reason. What we are here, we're doing everything we can to discourage trafficking in person. We are prosecuting people. This last year, we repatriated victims that we defended in court to Freetown on 2 different occasions. Then somebody would think that we will support somebody who is engaged in trafficking or person. That is, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to think that nobody will think of this ministry to do anything like that. We are working with the police. We are working with our TRP department, and we're doing everything we can to address those critical issues that have to do with trafficking.
Minister Kra at the same time disclosed that the government, through the Ministry of Labor, has established and maintaining 3 safe homes for human trafficking victims in Maserati and Bombay counties.
We are maintaining 3 safe homes, one in Bombay and 2 in Maserati. And those victims that are there, we feed them on a monthly basis. We have also solicited assistance for ECOWAS. ECOWAS gave her, last year they gave her 35,000 to help with the feeling and to take care of those victims. And we are doing it on a daily basis. Amen. For somebody to go out and say, because somebody who was looking for a job was seeing our billing, looking for who was being considered because he did something 4 years ago, that means the ministry knows about it. That is so incorrect. But some of the radio stations in Liberia, they think the only target is government officials. They hear something, they will not follow. They will not even do the simple reasoning. Under our law, criminal acts are not transferable. If somebody committed a crime 5 years ago, if the police were to arrest that person, the police will deal with him according to what he has done, not to transfer it to somebody else. But again, those who make these statements sometimes they have limited minds. That is the problem. That's why sometimes I remember sometimes you look and say, look, either you say great, you but either go to school or you don't go to school at all. Because a little learning is a dangerous thing. Drink deep or taste not the water of life.
He's Minister of Labor, Cooper Kra. They're speaking. The executive director of the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, Anase Miame, has criticized the Unity Party-led government over corruption allegations and the abuse of the rule of law. According to Director Miami, President Boakai has failed to address ongoing corruption saga involving the executive and other top government officials. He indicated that alleged settlement of the former central bank governor, Aloysius Taluf, for over 300,000 United States dollars questions the president's sincerity in the fight against corruption. Here now is Central boss Anasi Miame.
With just over a year in office, the writings on the wall are becoming clearer regarding the president's delivery on these promises. The rule of law hangs in a balance as tenured officials have been removed contrary to law and replaced by partisans and associates of the Boakai administration. A president who promised to uphold the rule of law will not go to any length to break the law. Recent revelations that the Boakai administration paid a whooping $374,239.24 to Mr. Aloysius Talu, the ex-wild governor of the Central Bank of Liberia, as settlement regarding a lawsuit bordering on his removal raises questions about the president's sincerity about engineering a different Liberia where there is no more business as usual. With the reason for Talu's suspension ostensibly linked to the outcome of an audit conducted by the Central Bank of Liberia, we now wonder whether the alleged conduct of Talu was not the basis of his suspension, but simply a ploy to circumvent the law in favor of President Bouacar and his cronies. Moreover, we are shocked that that the Bouacar's administration elected to spend nearly $500,000 of the Liberian people's money to facilitate the removal of Talu. We are now remains of the fact that the Bouacar administration potentially executed many of such agreements to the tune of millions of dollars. And since it is now clear that these agreements are signed on a strict terms of confidentiality, the Liberian people will truly never get to know how much the administration is dishing out to people illegally removed in favor of Bouacar's appointees.
The Central Boss follow emphasized the constant disregard for the rule of law by the United Party-led government for political gains. Miami said the actions by the government undermine transparency and accountability in the country's governance system. He made the assertion on Wednesday when he addressed a team of journalists regarding the ongoing corruption scandal across the government, among other things. The acting chairman of the Governance Commission has stressed the need for the revision of certain aspects of the legal regime and the Liberian Constitution. Professor Alaric Tokpa pointed out that sustainable democracy should not depend only on goodwill of political leaders, because the continuation of democratic practices should be required by the Liberian Constitution and the legal regime. Delivering the keynote speech at the 68th Armed Forces Day, Professor Tokpa made it unequivocally clear that there should be an engagement with all stakeholders in order to build sustainable democracy in Liberia. Here now is Alaric Tokpa.
There is need for a review of our constitutional and certain aspects of our legal regimes. Why? Because sustainable democracy should not only be dependent on the goodwill of leaders. The continuation of democratic practice should also require compulsion by constitutional and legal regime. In order to build a sustainable democracy, it is essential that we engage all stakeholders, including government agencies, civil society, the private sector, and the international community. Interagency collaboration is key to addressing the complex challenges we face and ensuring that our efforts are coordinated and effective. By working together, we can create a more inclusive and resilient democracy that serves the needs of all Liberians. The armed forces of Liberia plays a crucial role in maintaining peace and security within the country. To do this, however, the role of the AFL should now extend beyond traditional military functions. The AFL can also become instrumental in promoting democracy, democratic governance, and fostering a culture of responsibility. By engaging interagency collaboration, the AFL can contribute to the enhancement of sustainable democracy in Liberia, considering the following: maintaining law, order, peace and security, by neutralizing potential threats, assessing with disaster and promoting climate resilient initiatives, promotion of democratic governance, through dedication to upholding the Constitution and protecting the rights and freedoms of all citizens, fostering civic responsibility through civil military relations initiatives, such as working closely with other government agencies, civil society organizations, community youth, and other stakeholders. The AFL can help to address the complex challenges of Liberia more effectively. This collaborative approach will require the sharing of resources, experiences, expertise, and information leading to more comprehensive and coordinated efforts.
He's Alaric Tokpa, acting chairman of the Governance Commission. They're speaking In remarks, the ECOWAS ambassador to Liberia, Josephine Nkrumah, said the sustaining of democracy requires the whole societal approach, including the armed forces of Liberia, which is a part of the society. She commended the high command of the EFL for reaching to the Liberian society and not forgetting operating in secrecy, and for not operating in secrecy as means of other security institutions in the West African region. The activities marking the observance of the 68th anniversary of the Armed Forces of Liberia continues Friday with Jumat service at the fish market in Cinco. And on Saturday, the 8th of February 2025, the celebration continues with cleanup campaign beginning on Crown Hill in Monrovia. Here now is Josephine Nkrumah.
Sustaining democracy is a whole of society approach. And of course, our armed forces are part of our society. I must commend the armed forces of Liberia for reaching out to the citizenry over the period of time that I've been here. It has remained open, it's not shrouded in secrecy, and we must all work together to see the armed forces as part and parcel of us. Armed forces officers are first and foremost citizens of Liberia. And it is every citizen's responsibility to participate in the sustenance of our democracy. Reach out to the armed forces in involving them in the narratives and discourse that we have on how we sustain our democracy. The army set aside distinct from this process will not make an inclusive and participatory democratic journey for us. And so as we've had this conversation, I hope it doesn't end here. The conversations will continue in the media space because you have a role to play as well, and how we can all work together to sustain Liberia's democracy. The armed forces of Liberia, I know that oftentimes there is a push for enhanced conditions of service. That is the reality of being a soldier. And I fully appreciate that the life of a soldier is a very modest one. But in as much as it is a modest one, our conversation in ensuring that our armed forces, their well-being is at the forefront of what we do, is something that they alone cannot talk about. But for all of us to contribute to that conversation and prioritize their well-being for the collective and sustenance of our democracy.
She's ECOWAS ambassador to Liberia, Josephine Nkrumah. The Minister of National Defense says the armed forces of Liberia remains committed to championing the cause, ensuring that all citizens have a voice in shaping the future of the security landscape. Retired Major General Geraldine George added that based on this background, the AFL will continue to engage with the community through outreach programs, civic education, and social development initiatives. Minister George made a statement recently when she spoke at a one-day symposium marking the 68th Armed Forces Day organized by the Ministry of National Defense in Congo Town.
The armed forces of Liberia stands are a barricade in this noble endeavor. Stand fast in its duty to defend our nation and support the mechanism that keeps our democracy robust and enduring. Inter-agency collaboration is not an option. It is indeed a necessity. It is a bridge that links security and governance, ensuring that all sectors work in concert to protect our sovereignty and uphold the aspiration of our people. The AFL's partnership with law enforcement, the judiciary, the legislature, and the civil society is critical in addressing emerging security challenges, enhancing policy implementation, and fortifying our national defense architecture. This partnership makes us stronger, more resilient, and better prepared to respond both to internal and external threats. Beyond traditional security responsibility, the role of the military in democracy extends to nation building, peacekeeping, disaster response and humanitarian assistance. The armed forces has continuously demonstrated its dedication to ensuring national stability, particularly during elections, civil unrest, and crisis situations. When security agencies work together seamlessly, we do not only prevent conflict, but also foster trust, strengthen national cohesion, and create an environment conducive to sustainable development. To achieve effective collaboration, we must invest in joint training, example, exercise watchover, capacity building programs, technology and advancement that enhance interoperability, joint exercises, information and intelligence sharing, and the adoption of modern security technologies such as cybersecurity framework and real-time data analysis that will significantly improve our responsiveness to threats.
She's Minister of National Defense, retired Major General Geraldine George. Making remarks during the program, the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia, Major General Davidson Foley, observed that the security remains a collective responsibility of the entire society, regardless and irrespective of the citizen background. According to the EFL Chief of Staff, it is through effective collaborations, sharing of intelligence, and harmonized resources that the Liberian people can build a safer and resilient country.
As we navigate an evolving security landscape, one fundamental truth remains evident. No single institution can safeguard democracy and sustain it alone. Security is a collective responsibility requiring the whole of society, the private sector, the media, and most importantly, the citizens we are sworn to protect. It is only through effective collaborations, shared intelligence, and harmonized resources that we can build a safer and more resilient Liberia. Let's pull together. The armed forces of Liberia stands at the forefront of the collective effort. Why? Our primary mandate is national defense. Our duty extends far beyond to include supporting civil authority, responding to emerging threats, and strengthening national resilience. It is equally important to note that our success is measured not only by operational capabilities, but by the strength of our partnership and the depth of our engagement with key stakeholders. This symposium serves as an invaluable platform for dialogue, reflection, and action. It allows us to assess our progress, identify gaps, and forge stronger collaborations to preserve the high-end peace and democratic aims of our nations.
He's the Chief of Staff of the AFL, Major General Davidson Foley. They're speaking. The symposium, which was held under the theme Effective Stakeholders Engagement Through Interagency Collaboration for the Enhancement of Sustainable Democracy, brought panelists from cross-section of the Liberian society. The National Lottery Authority has presented $1,500,000 Liberian dollars to the 2024 National County Sports Meet Kickball category. The donation is in recognition of exceptional performances in the competition. Speaking at the presentation ceremony, Regina Nangwe, Director General of the National Lottery Authority, reaffirmed the institution's commitment to sports development and youth empowerment in Liberia.
We want to be grateful to God first for the Chess County Meet. The local authority in collaboration with the Ministry of Youth and Sport, and also in collaboration with the Secretary Office, we decided to give $1.5 million to the County Sport League who meet for the kickball decision So we were able to distribute it to the winner of the tournament, the runner of the third place, the most valuable player, the young player, and the best coach. So we gave the winner $700,000, the runner up $500,000, the third place $220,000, the best player, the MVP was MVP $40,000, the best coach 20,000, the third young player 20,000. So it's our own way of appreciating our young ladies participated within the country. Yeah, you saw that they come to the country league and brought about unifying us together. You see the reconciliation, you see the togetherness, you saw that everybody trained, accounted, you saw that people migrating from one country to another country when they feel defeated. Oh shit. So local authorities have decided now through a board resolution, through my management consultancies, I think, to invest into kickball. So this year, kickball federation will be the past sponsor. Look at the past sponsor of the kickball federation this year, 2025-2026 league season. We're going to sponsor it. We're going to see our best next year to upgrade our donation to the youth sport for 2025-2026 league season. So we want to say these are corporate responsibility. You know, sometimes they say instead of outplay make Jack a double. So the last 2 weeks in Monrovia, the SP Sport Complex, we saw Liberians from all around the world. People would play that program. People all around the country, change the country to victory.
He indicated that the National County Sports Meet is an important event that unites the country and provides a platform for young athletes to showcase their talents. Nagbefolo noted that as part of National Lottery Authority corporate social responsibility, the entity is proud to support the kickball category by ensuring that the winners and outstanding players receive well-deserved prizes. He emphasized that the donation is a dedication to promoting sports at all levels, particularly in kickball, which continues across the country. In foreign news, Malawi's President Lazarus Chakwera has ordered the military to begin preparing to withdraw from their peacekeeping mission in the volatile Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The Malawian troops are part of the South African Regional Bloc's military mission deployed to DR Congo to tackle armed groups. At least 20 peacekeepers, including 14 South Africans and 3 Malawians, were killed as the M23 rebels captured the key city of Goma, the capital of North Kivu province last week. President Chakwera said on Wednesday that his decision was meant to honor the declaration of a ceasefire by the parties, even though the fighting is still continuing. This is how we come to the end of today's edition of King's Newsroom. But just before we go, our stories we closely follow. Africa's power supplier to Liberia cuts from 50 megawatts to 7.5 megawatts to the Liberia Electricity Corporation due to production challenges and critical maintenance activities. In the ongoing Capitol building fire outbreak investigations, Liberia National Police arrests and forwards to court 2 additional suspects, charged them of destructive forces, criminal mischief, among others. Center for Transparency and Accountability criticizes Unity Party-led government over rampant corruption allegations. Center Executive Director Ernest Imiame says President Joseph Boakai has failed to address cardinal needs of the Liberian people. And away from Liberia, Malawi's President Lazarus Chakwera has ordered the military to begin preparing to withdraw from their peacekeeping mission in the volatile Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Many thanks to all of our contributors, editors, and reporters who helped in making this edition of King's Newsroom a success. Otis Sankan brought you our news bulletin. My name is Cornelius Johnson. I presented. Join us this evening at 6 p.m. for another edition of King's Newsroom. My name is Cornelius Johnson again. Good afternoon.